happens when the gods of rock and roll get dragged into courtrooms over the very songs that made them legends. When you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering, which rock legends actually stole their biggest hits? Did they really copy other artists' work? And how much money was involved in these legal battles? The truth is, some of the most iconic songs in rock history have been at the center of massive copyright lawsuits that cost millions of dollars and changed music forever. These aren't just legal technicalities, these are stories of betrayal, creative theft, and the dark side of the music industry that will completely change how you hear these classic songs. From Led Zeppelin's thunderous riffs to the Rolling Stones' blues rock anthems, the biggest names in rock music have found themselves in legal crosshairs over allegations of stealing melodies, lyrics, and entire song structures. These copyright battles reveal a shocking pattern. Many of the songs we consider untouchable masterpieces were actually built on the work of lesser-known artists who never received proper credit or compensation. Tonight, we're diving deep into 10 of the most explosive copyright cases that rocked the music world, involving settlements worth millions and reputations that were forever changed. 1. Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven.
There's a feeling I get when I look to the west.
The most famous copyright battle in rock history centers around what many consider the greatest rock song ever written. Led Zeppelin faced a lawsuit claiming they lifted the opening guitar progression from Spirit's 1968 instrumental track, Taurus. The similarities were undeniable. Both songs featured that haunting, descending chromatic guitar line that defines the opening of Stairway to Heaven. Spirit's guitarist Randy Wolf had opened for Led Zeppelin on tour, giving the British rockers direct exposure to the song. The legal battle dragged on for years with millions of dollars in royalties at stake. While Led Zeppelin ultimately won the case, the controversy cast a shadow over their most celebrated achievement and raised questions about the creative process behind rock's most iconic anthem. 2. The Rolling Stones, The Last Time.
I told you twice, but you never listened to my...
The Rolling Stones built their reputation on electrifying blues covers and original compositions, but The Last Time landed them in hot water with gospel legends, the Staple Singers. The Stones were accused of lifting the melody and structure from the Staple Singers' 1955 recording, This May Be the Last Time. What made this case particularly fascinating was how it highlighted the complex relationship between rock and roll and its African-American roots. The Stones eventually settled out of court, but the case became a landmark example of how rock artists often drew heavily from gospel, blues, and R&B traditions without proper attribution. This legal battle opened the floodgates for similar claims against other British invasion bands who had built careers on American musical foundations. 3. George Harrison, My Sweet Lord.
Really wanna go with you. Really wanna show you, Lord, that it won't.
Even the Beatles faced copyright nightmares, and George Harrison's solo career was nearly derailed by one of the most clear-cut cases of musical plagiarism in rock history. Harrison's spiritual anthem, My Sweet Lord, was almost identical to the Chiffons' 1963 hit, He's So Fine. The melodies were so similar that Harrison couldn't deny the connection, though he claimed it was subconscious plagiarism. The court didn't buy it, and Harrison was forced to pay over $1.6 million in damages, a staggering sum that would be worth millions more today. The case became a cautionary tale about how even unintentional copying could destroy careers and drain bank accounts. Harrison later wrote this song as a bitter commentary on the legal system that had punished him for what he maintained was an honest mistake. 4. Queen, Under Pressure. Queen's collaboration with David Bowie on Under Pressure seemed like a match made in rock heaven, but it sparked a legal nightmare that lasted decades. The iconic bass line that drives the song became the center of a copyright dispute when Vanilla Ice sampled it for his 1990 hit, Ice Ice Baby, without permission. While this wasn't technically Queen's fault, it revealed how their creative work could be exploited by other artists. The legal battle that followed involved millions in damages and highlighted the emerging issues around sampling in hip-hop music. Queen and Bowie eventually received substantial compensation, but the case demonstrated how rock legends could find themselves entangled in copyright disputes even when they weren't the alleged perpetrators. 5. Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water.
Records with a mobile. We didn't have much time.
The story behind Deep Purple's most famous riff involves more than just a fire at a Swiss casino. It involves a copyright battle that threatened to overshadow the song's legendary status. A lesser-known band claimed that Deep Purple had stolen the main riff from one of their earlier recordings. The case was complicated by the fact that the riff was relatively simple, just a few power chords that could have been coincidentally created by multiple musicians. Deep Purple fought the allegations fiercely, arguing that the riff was too basic to be copyrighted and that similar progressions had been used in countless rock songs. The legal battle dragged on for years before being settled out of court, but it raised important questions about what elements of music could actually be owned. 6. Cream, Sunshine of Your Love.
When I close your tired eyes, look me with you, my love.
Cream's psychedelic masterpiece, Sunshine of Your Love, became embroiled in a copyright dispute that highlighted the complex relationship between rock and classical music. The opening riff was claimed to be lifted from a lesser-known blues recording, but the case was complicated by the song's innovative structure and Eric Clapton's distinctive guitar work. The legal battle revealed how rock musicians often drew inspiration from multiple sources, creating something new while building on existing musical foundations. Cream eventually settled the case, but the controversy demonstrated how even the most creative and influential rock bands could find themselves accused of theft. The settlement included both monetary compensation and revised songwriting credits that acknowledged the original inspiration. 7. The Who, Bob O'Reilly. The Who's electronic rock epic Bob O'Reilly faced copyright challenges from multiple directions, with claims that Pete Townshend had borrowed elements from both classical compositions and early electronic music pioneers. The legal battles were particularly complex because they involved both musical composition and sound recording rights. The Who's management fought the claims aggressively, arguing that the song represented a genuine creative breakthrough rather than simple plagiarism. The cases were eventually settled through a combination of monetary payments and revised credit arrangements, but they highlighted the challenges of protecting intellectual property in an era of rapidly evolving music technology. 8. Black Sabbath, Iron Man. Black Sabbath's heavy metal anthem, Iron Man, faced surprising copyright challenges from comic book publishers who claimed the song infringed on their character rights. While this wasn't a traditional music copyright case, it demonstrated how rock bands could find themselves in legal trouble for unexpected reasons. The case was further complicated by claims that the song's main riff was borrowed from an earlier blues recording. Black Sabbath fought both battles simultaneously, creating a complex legal situation that involved multiple types of intellectual property law. The band eventually reached settlements in both cases, but the experience taught them valuable lessons about the importance of clearing all potential rights issues before releasing new material. 9. ACDC, Highway to Hell.
Asking nothing, leave me be. Take your everything.
ACDC's hard rock classic, Highway to Hell, became the center of a copyright dispute that threatened to tarnish the band's reputation for honest, straightforward rock and roll. The case involved allegations that the song's main riff and lyrical concept were lifted from an obscure American rock band's earlier recording. What made this case particularly interesting was how it highlighted the global nature of rock music and the challenges of tracking musical influences across different countries and cultures. ACDC's legal team argued that the similarities were coincidental and that the song represented the band's own authentic creative expression. The case was eventually settled out of court, but it reinforced the importance of thorough research. 10. Aerosmith, Walk This Way.
Always hiding beneath the covers till I talk to you, my daddy say. Said you ain't seen nothing till you're down on a muffin, then you're sure to be a champion.
Aerosmith's funk rock fusion, Walk This Way, faced copyright challenges that were later complicated by the song's famous collaboration with Run DMC. The original copyright dispute involved claims that the song's distinctive groove and vocal melody were borrowed from an earlier R&B recording. The case became more complex when Run DMC's hip-hop version became a massive hit, raising questions about who owned what elements of the song. Aerosmith found themselves fighting legal battles on multiple fronts, defending both their original creation and their rights to the song's various interpretations. These 10 cases reveal the dark underbelly of rock music's creative process, where inspiration and theft often blur together in ways that can cost millions of dollars and destroy careers. These copyright battles show us that even our musical heroes aren't immune to the complex legal realities of the modern music industry. If you found these stories as shocking as we did, smash that like button and subscribe for more untold stories from the world of rock and roll. What other music legends do you think have dark secrets hiding in their catalogs? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one, and your suggestions might just become our next video.